Hey, it is working good. Down that stream volume a little bit. I've been working using AI here to do some lore building. Or start taking my ideas and kind of like organizing them. Today, made a nice little markdown system that can be added right to the Git repo. And as I'm kind of organizing my thoughts and ideas, it make it a lot easier. I had a wiki for this before, but wikis were just too slow to kind of edit, and I'd rather probably just use Markdown. It makes a lot more sense to me. Today we're going to relight this and organize it a little bit. Okay, so does this one. Yeah, see, that needs to click. Hmm. All right, the audio manager. Start with muted buses. Hmm. How thick you want to have these? I'll put them as ridges for now. And we'll see how it looks. Air prototype Bravox B1. What's this one? Station exterior panel material. Okay. Yeah, that looks a lot nicer. Why are these not taking any light? And a crash. Lovely. And your landing pad. Static light maps. Still works, but what changed? It looks like it still works. Hmm. Hmm. What's up with all my snap notes? Get all the interior. Kill the model. Yeah, why are there defaults? They're the power plant, snap plant, power plant, medium. We're going to get rid of all these snap points, except for the hollow projector, and like re-import them from the gray box, I guess. Very weird. Behind. So the gray box version. What? Well, I guess we were using this one as the base. Weird. Okay, fine. Let's undo it. Yeah, all the IDs are gone. Well, it's really annoying having to set these up again. Yeah, we're gonna change the power plant origin. I'm gonna redo it all now. The goal of the stream is now going to be get the ship customizations fully working again. In a way that like makes sense. They were originally, the origin was kind of different because we didn't know, like, you know, exactly like where we wanted stuff to go, and yeah. So our power plant friend here ended up, yeah, having a weird origin. And we do want the origin to be the mount point. I still think we're going to use this front middle as the origin. I think that's fine. Because there's nothing really here. I don't really want it to be up here. We could use bottom center after we align it. Yeah, because the idea of the bounds of this thing is exactly 1.2 shaped. So why don't we do that when we just recreate it real quick, and then we'll just realign it. It must adhere to this. So what we'll do is we'll set this. Change the origin to here. Although, that said, let's just move this down. Just temporarily. Then we'll move this point to here. And now if all this is parented correctly, which apparently it's not, okay, whatever. Yeah, so we can still keep the origin kind of there, because that's really where it should be. If we're thinking about the bounding area and we're spawning it. Oh, yeah, yeah, while we're doing that, let's actually apply all the rotation. Okay. Oh no, why did I create that textures folder? Go away. I gotta reset this. I always want textures to be adjacent to these. Hey, what are we modeling today? So today we're doing all the ship components. So what I've done already today is we've gone in. So, the TLDR is true roughness is terrible. And true metallic is terrible because a true metallic, we can't bake anything to it. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I've gone and brightened these up a bit and re-exported some of the hanger details. So like some of the old colors, of course, and made them less metallic so that they can actually bake lighting more effectively. And so these have been brought into the game now so that we can actually see the game crash. The game must have crashed. No, it didn't. Let me show you here. So I've already flown in and tried this already. So now I've re-baked the lighting. So, because I want it to be dark, but not like super dark. You know what I mean? Like we want it to be like dark, systemically, but not like religiously dark. Because you need to be able to work on the ship. So we've put a real time reflection probe in there. Yeah, yeah, true metallic with like a mirror and mirrors in Godot. Man, not very bit. They're okay. Like you can have a little bit, 0.2. So this is like baked lighting that I've already baked out for the whole arm, and all of this here is baked as well. Right? There's no lights here. I want to keep all this kind of dark. This is gonna be like the tool area where we load and unload. And here we actually do the work. But when I was going through with the when I went in and just tried to play the game and pop off all the components and swap them all out and make them all work, it's missing a lot of snap points. So in the process of time with the little gray box ships, I seem to have lost my gray box or my snap point nodes. So redoing them again for the final art, because that was one of the things you could do in the original trailer for Unity, right? We had all the components finished, and you could go and fully customize every part of the ship, right? Swap everything out. And it worked gray box for a bit too. But I want to now have it all fully standardized. So when we buy the ship, there's a default loadout that comes with the ship, so it could be flown. But once you bring it to a hangar and start pulling off all the components and whatnot, then it'll you can kind of actually leave your ship in a place where it can't can't fly. And what I'm going to do is I'm not going to worry about the collision shapes here. You know, once you have bought a component, you know, unless you take it, you know, unless it's on the ship, like once it finally becomes a part of the ship, right? And it's data on the ship, then it's not here. It's moved. You know, it's inventory to inventory. But if you were to like leave something and it were to clip through the ground or something like that, you could go to the terminal and respawn it again, right? Like it'll just remove the one that already is in the world. So you can't. I want to make sure you can't lose stuff per se, but there's always a risk. Like if you're physically going to go and detach a component from the ship, then there's always a risk that you could leave it behind, you know, or vice versa. But you know, your ability to outfit the ship and change things shouldn't be affecting the, you know, the. I want to make sure that like we you know we remove the possibilities of bugs as much as possible, right? So that's more effective for the player to be able to kind of, you know, not lose something important like a power plant or things like that. That's probably not going to be a fun experience. Yeah, so we just redid this one. So it's just going through now, and you know, because we have all the component, I have all the original wiring from Unity, like the original art. So like when all of this gets put in, this is what the real coolers look like, right? Like everything, the fuel scoop, it's all modeled, right? Every part of the ship is meant to be physical. I remember hangars had like a landing path for automatic landing. That's just NPCs or your ship as well. I think what I'm going to do is for the landing paths, right? That's what we were cleaning up yesterday. Um, I think right, player ships will have that. Will have that same navigation system. Only for a player ship, it'll be disguised as a flight controller. So in other words, like if you eventually buy this flight controller, it's going to be a component. You put it on the ship. When you put that thing on the ship, it pretty much adds a flight controller node, which is exactly what the NPC is using, right? Like the very basic NPC flight. Because you're just a ship, just like the NPC is a ship. You know what I mean? And then you could utilize it. But the thing is, you're then what you know now you're tapping in the power, right? Now you're being lazy. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being lazy, but if you're, you know, like, but then if you're not paying attention, like it's probably not going to be the best component to stick on your ship if you're going to be silent running or something like that, right? It's gonna pick the most optimal, you know, route. But it's a good example of just reusing a system and then also using it to a disadvantage of your own ship power output. Because you know, like that could have been a, you know, an extra large navigation computer versus taking up like 2 slots on the component rack. So that's like the you know, the thought process here. So you remember EVE Online had like autopilot, but it was intentionally working on safer navigation margins, so you can get caught exactly something like 50 meters before like a jump gate versus right at the jump gate when manually navigating. Oh, I like that collision shape. Let me just make this editable for a second. Nah, it can be better than that. Yeah, better. Yeah, so we put a power plant to actually be centered. And then we'll ignore this little gray box one. This one's fine. The build will keep. We gotta redo this material anyway for the shader. Power plant, snap point. It's good. But wherever this snap point is now, at 0.452. Components are at 0. Go this for the time being. Make sure this is the right one. It is. Now the snap point needs to move back. Oh, what is it not snapping? For the time being, we're going to make this editable. Fuel tank port. We're gonna nest these for the time being. So maybe we can just move this power plant. Then we have the whole kind of snap. We'll just separate them afterwards. But I don't think that's right. The power plant, like everything should have been down to a metric 1 meter unit in the ship entirely. This is how it should be whenever it loads here. This is the design, right? Yeah, okay. Let's bring in, so like this should be hooked up here. What happened to my power plant? Four panels, there's a power plant here. Oh, it moved. Okay, okay. Its origin is off now. That's fine. Move 1 unit down, move 1 unit back. Okay, yeah, and so this is like minus. Yeah, I don't like this. Where are we off? We're like 633. It's like not honoring anything that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like maybe I moved it up aesthetically, but that doesn't make any sense either. Like if I look, we turn on the exterior. Yeah, the fuel scoop has more room. Let me go into the exterior and turn off the panels just real quick. Because we're going to need to reorganize these now and get them actually set up correctly. Oh, there's some mining ship exterior. With a mining module. Not the one that I want it to do. Ship transport. Ship transport exterior. Okay, save it. Let's just relaunch this real quick. We will get it organized. Once all these snap points are up, the only thing is it's going to ruin all the save files that are tied to the snap points. Well, it shouldn't, because if we're using the same snap point nodes, then the data from my ship loadout should still be fine. But I have a feeling that's why I only had one cool. I think a lot of it will just need to be reset. The ships will have to be just reset right now. And let's see if hiding that works in the collection. I guess I got to move the panel out for the time being. Okay. And I guess that's why I created that node. Just put testing here, boop, and put this panel here for the time being. Hide it. And then relaunch this one. You just reopen. There's like an easy way to just reopen this design scene. Yes. So this is what we mean. So there's room, like this is what we're supposed to be seeing underneath. Right? Like it should be just enough room to pop everything out. We can move this wall back if we need to, this guard wall. But the fact that these are not rounded to a to a whole unit is very weird, right? Because everything is normally with the ship components. I've always from the first day of making this thing. But even this power plant, like this is way too high. Right? All of this is aligned perfectly to specific units. And then it's like a 0.9 instead of like -1. And they should be a little bit smaller than the perfect 1 meter unit. Right, like 6'5". Yeah, maybe -8. Yeah, we are up way too high now. Okay, so 8.5, okay, that looks like that's where it should be. For the grill. It's really close though on the edge. We can change this. So it's -8, -5, 7, -6.5, and this got to be moved. It doesn't make sense because even this support structure is like wrong. But then again, it's also in a weird place. It makes no sense either. 0.5. Maybe it was like fractionally scaled by mistake. Yeah. There's definitely something. It's been so long, man. Too like it's been a long time since I cared about the detail of all this. You know, like this is, you know, like back in Unity, I really wanted to create that visual slice. You know, but then afterwards, it's like no. All that matters is the components. You know, they're good, they work, they can be attached to the ship. We don't care about the details here, how all this structure looks. Like it'd be cool for the final build, and the way it works is when we detach these cables will go loose. They just have a visual like two phase step. So like the second you click it, these will just become like kind of in a like a hanging state. And then the second you go and remove the power plant, they'll just disappear. So they kind of appear as links between them as you're attaching the components to make it easier to, you know what I mean, to not have wiring everywhere. You're just kind of snapping them around and, like putting them in and swapping them out through different variant types. Because I put a lot of work into making sure like all of these have specific scale and they're all within a certain bounding area, like 0.5, 0.1, even this thing should be technically like 0.75 radial, like 1.5. Like it's so weird, really weird. But because even this is kind of too thick, like it's really forward. You know what I mean? Like even now, like it's kind of. I have moved it back, but it's too far forward even. Yeah, because this thing kind of goes up underneath the cabinet. You don't need a lot of efficiency. I just want to have something that looked cool. Like if you look into the front of the ship, you'd see like the almost like this kind of an ion-y kind of emission type thing for the fuel scoops. And I just love the idea of being able to actually have a physicalized fuel scoop that you can remove and have all the parts kind of have their own personality to them. But it's weird that like this all kind of changed to a certain degree. And I know I did do some ship modifications, like I added in these I moved everything down a little bit, added these little risers. They're just meant to simplify the mesh shape a little bit. Inset when they need to be, outset when they're not. But You know, and we made it wider. There was some reasoning for making it wider as well, like a little bit chubbier. But as far as I'm aware, that shouldn't have affected any of the ship interiors. I'm gonna go put the kettle on to grab a decaf, but move this down to 2. But this is what I want. I want to. Let me just. I'll show you here in the. I'll visually leave these in the ship for the time being. It's going to mess up all of my ship components. But that's totally okay right now. Oh, maybe not, because it's actually clipping through like crazy. But move it in. Or we'll just lay it all in there for the time being, just like a go fly. Very annoying. Because that's my next step of the equation is getting the station inventories working for storage for the player, and making it so we can do some kind of weekly challenges for those that want to play it in the current state. Like it could be like haul X amount of cargo. Like they're kind of like just like testing missions, you know. Oh, looks lovely. Oh, I turned I turned off the ship model. Crap. Ship interior model. Doesn't matter. Let's go. No, I have no, and I have no warp drive. It's fine. So if we come in to here now, everything works as anticipated. Right, the hanger arm should do its thing. Grab the ship nicely. Let us go. Right, so like the arm's working. We have lighting. We can open up the bottom of the ship. And ideally, you know, we should be able to go and buy all of our components. All right, the issue being is these are still like the gray box ones, and they're obviously not going to fit, you know. But they're missing like, wait, what? Fuel intake, fuel scoop. Oh, they're still here. Okay, they're the components are still here from before. So fuel scoop, fuel intake. Fuel intake's not. So like obviously positioning is off for a lot of this stuff. But this will be nice in final art. You know what I mean? Like I think this will be a nice experience now. Like now the hanger has a little bit more detail to it. We're gonna redo the normal maps. There's some clipping from the animation, but you'll be able to come in here and pull out all the components, work on it, and it'll you know, it'll be good. Let's rebake some of this lighting stuff. This is all like fake lighting that's kind of broken right now. It needs, yeah, it just needs more light, needs more paneling. But this will be cool. This will be something a little bit nicer to show off. You know, we should. I don't know if this works. Let me. No, store spawn. Where's the mag arm? Ah. Ship's still frozen. I should have released it. Let me turn it back on and see if it tracks the ship. No. Resets it. And that should be working too, and it's not. Right, because the data is null for it. Yeah, we'll get there. We're gonna break stuff, but we'll get it. So my goal now is by the end of the weekend, I want to have this working by the end of the weekend. So for Monday gameplay testing, I want to just fly around and upgrade the ship, and just with non-gray box items. Art-wise, we'll continue. Like I could add a bit more gloss to this. But we'll add all the paneling. We're just going to steal paneling from the other hangar, and we'll get all this kind of detailed and trimmed up, and then rebaked. That's the goal, right? Because there's a version 2 of the ship arm. See how it moves? Like it's so like finicky. Gotta start locking shit. Right, because the issue that I have right now with the station is like you go over here and buy a ship component. So you go into I think I have like a component store here. Probably don't even have one. I just have I have it all in the hangar. So you're just buying it in the hangar, but I don't want you to buy it in the hangar. I want you to go to the store and actually buy the ship component. And then in the store, then we can have some displays with all the components on them. And then when you buy it, it goes to the station inventory. And then when you get a hangar, you can access the station inventory and spawn it in. It's kind of the same thing as when you're buying it and it just appears there. But I want it to appear on the here inside the elevator ramp. Right, so that way I can close the elevator ramp and spawn it in, open the elevator ramp. The idea is that the direction that I want to go for this, for the vertical slice, which is just fully detailed space station with gameplay mechanics, so we can market the game, maybe get some more Patreon members, is the idea that the ship spawns under and comes up. You know what I mean? And we never see pop in, right? Components spawn inside and the ramp opens, right? So cargo items we throw on the ingest or the outtake, they can't be seen inside the dark hole, right? So it's just this idea of creating natural, natural feeling systems, where everything feels like it's a part of it, right? And then the final stage of that is NPCs that are here that go to their own ships, right? They go to their own little NPC elevator and then disappear. Right, and then we got more baked lighting, but this is coming along good. I like this. I don't know why in my other, here, they're fine. In one of these truck stops, every one of these are backwards for some reason. Unless they're rotating. Unless they're turning on and then rotating backwards. They might be. But they're definitely... I don't know. Let me see the clinic room. It's when I spawn on them, they're backwards. If I make this thing temporarily editable and run the animation... Oh, they are starting backwards. What? Yeah, because I don't want them to go down. Why am I editing that? Weird that it's letting me edit that, but maybe it's only visually doing it. That's weird. Let me not make this editable. Alright, now that it's not editable, it's like it seems to be weird. It's like the wrist pose of it is wrong. See, it's like totally fine now, but it's the this reset pose is like this way, but in reality, down starts in the other direction. So it's like it's actually backwards, which is weird. And it should be facing Z forward anyway, so that's actually, all of this is correct, but the reset's wrong. So like the reset rotation, it's not really supposed to be here. I can change it. Unless it is the healing thing. Let me just say, so this reset versus down, down versus reset. Yeah, I guess this is fine. I gotta re-export this thing anyway. As long as that saves. Yeah, cool. And then we just spin these around. Good. And when we spawn, we should spawn facing the right direction. And then if these need to animate, let me just check the animation real quick. So if you need like do, boop, perfect. It fits. Excellent. Weird. Okay, so that's good. Because that was one other issue. So we're spawning upside down or spawning in a weird spot. Yeah, good. The next thing, so after I finish the hangars and the ships, we're going to we're going to need to bake the nav meshes of the station so the NPCs can traverse. But before that, we're gonna work on the character creator and add all the hairstyles that Quaternius has in his pack, and then we'll apply the randomization of those hairstyles to all the NPCs as well. And then hopefully by the time we're done that work, like that'll put us up, right? So we'll, like this week will be like the ship components. Throughout next week we'll be working on the hangar details, like more of the modeling. They want to work on the nav meshes of these assets and the NPCs, but it'll we're working on the character too, like just randomizing all the different like beards and stuff. And so I want to be able to make the players a lot more unique. Obviously, they're still kind of placeholder beards, right? They're going to change out those models, but that'll help add more nuance to the NPCs. So the randomization of the NPCs will be cool. And then when we get the when the flight suit is done, I don't know, Asterion, if you've seen the flight suits that are being worked on. Just looking here, I'm gonna go back and talk. I gotta save these out. So we have a gentleman, Tiago, and Tiago is working on like a lower quality standard flight suit, for the male and the female. So this will be cool, and I'm gonna keep going with them for everything. It's more of a hand painted kind of style, right? You see this is kind of like sculpted and painted, but still with detail, right? So I think it'll be really good. It'll kind of like it'll put the game at a scale that makes sense for me, like artistically, for what we're trying to do, and then we're going to keep going with them. working on the other aspects until everything's kind of fleshed out. So soon, not only will the players have all of their suits on and everything, so will the all the NPCs and whatnot, especially ones that are out around. So the goal, yeah, that's the goal. To make things not gray boxy. But that's the trick. We gotta get rid of black. Black, like I want things to be black, but black is in dark. We want to I want to find the balance of neon plus like cringe. Like, how do we do dark and cringe? But if things are too dark, then we're not going to see the you're not going to see all the roughness. You're not going to see the details. Yeah, charcoal black. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Space shuttle heat shield black. What black is that? What is the black of space shuttle heat shield? But I think this is going to look cool. I can't wait for this to feel like it does in the other game in the Unity version. Nothing does anything justice because like you don't see in my brain like these extra support structures here with the lights kind of built into them and just things. I just need to find better like color tones and then like put in the like the little park areas, little benches, and things like that. Little food court area, like all that little things, just kind of really help kind of sell these areas. Yeah, this stuff, all of this has a fix up to these connectors. They're very poorly done. But yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do. This situation here, probably like remodel the ship exterior or something. Move it all forward a little bit. Like, I don't know what I was originally thinking. I think like this, where this meter, like so this stops here, this panel. But like yeah, like nothing is quite. Realistically, I know the goal was this would be here, and this looks like it is where it needs to be. But yeah, it's weird. Hey, Big Boy Games, how's it going? Welcome. Really, really, really good. So we're at a stage of development now where we're working on final art, which sucks because I mean, it's kind of like as you can see here, there's a bit of detail I'm kind of going with here for the game. I want it to be a very tangible, unique experience. I want your ship to mean something to you. I want it to, actually, I want you to feel like, hey, this is my ship, man. Like I outfitted everything. I upgraded all the components, like every piece, everything from fuel scoop, fuel intake, power plant. It's my config because we're not doing a lot of ships. We're just doing a lot of variation between the ships, right? Whether it's like the difference between a transport ship, as an example, and the mining version. It's just that the mining version has an add-on, right? It's like the same, same hull, but like you sacrifice all this cargo storage for these kind of big, rock hoppers, that are on the sides, and this thing can kind of like tractor beam suck in all the loose cargo, and it can cut rocks. But to have the configuration, you need the storage for it. But it's still the same ship, right? So just the idea is there's around 7 unique ships. Yeah. That's the idea, right? So what I've been doing on the performance side of all of this, if we just go to our player transport ship, so I've been doing an optimization pass for a lot of this. So like at a distance here, the window is not transparent. It's just like glossy. And then as we come in, all of the ship components come in. Well, hang on. Let me actually fix what I'm doing here. Let me turn on the interior model is good. Interior, ship interior, thank you. Okay, let's do that again. Let's do that again. Right, so I can fly through and all the components are all in, right? All the details, all the panels. And as I go far away from this thing, right, everything kind of fades out, like there's not a lot of draw calls. And that's because what we've been doing is setting up the visibility on everything. So for the interior, if you notice, if I come out, right, everything unloads. If I keep coming out to like 64 meters, everything is gone except for the cockpit, because you always want to see the cockpit because there's other NPCs flying the ships and whatnot. But everything now has visibility defined on it to pretty much be to be nothing. You know what I mean? At a distance, those draw calls are from things that are on the cockpit components, right? So this is like super crazy optimization pass, but like, and when I say like super crazy optimization pass, it's like, you know, from a distance you can't see anything inside the mall. As I come in, like the mall is there, right? There's the hospital all the way into where you spawn. In a back the tank, you know, healing tank. It's detail, but it's all, you know, procedurally. It's all tied to visibility and level of detail. When you have a million ships and players in one world, imagine it's going to be super important. Yeah. The scope of the game is around 24 players, 24 to 34 players on an instanced star system. So think of it more like a, you know, the pitch has always been like a space Sea of Thieves, right? In space Sea of Thieves, the distances between all of these space stations and their associated planets will be very similar to the islands in Sea of Thieves, and the time frame of traversal would also be very similar, right? So you're, you know, the vistas per would be kind of the same as well. So it's not meant to like the distance between will be greater because the ship's obviously able to go faster, right? But you know, the scope is to be to that regard. And for those who haven't seen the game, you know, the idea is you have delivery missions. Things are not loading in right now. I'm in the middle. I merged over all of my things from the Unity project, so all of my like final art for everything. So I'm in a weird state right now where I've kind of introduced, like, even the guns, right? I've introduced like 12 gigabytes to the build, and you know, and I'm switching out gray box for final art, and there's a lot of resources that are still using the old gray box, and there's things that are broken, and right. But NPCs, they themselves have their own little kind of life cycle, right? That they go from A to B, and they even their ships like have their own cargo, because you can pirate them, you know. So if I go into the ship here and I just steal their cargo box before they get to it, right? Like, so, you know, that's just, you know, random cargo. Because, you know, the goal is you're buying and selling cargo, you're bringing it from A to B, you're gaining reputation, right? You're kind of working to be a space scoundrel, right? Whether you're kind of bootlegging, moving, you know, pirated goods or non-pirated goods. It's up to you how you want to play. If you just want to do mining, if you just want to do salvage, you know, we're not gonna stop you. But there's a lot of fun bad boy gameplay mechanics. I just absolutely deleted the engine. That's funny. We don't need that engine. It's totally fine. So having the art now be like to this level, I think it's going to really help like market the game. You know, like it's like there's reasons for everything, but a lot of reasons aren't shown. You know, the whole point of the, you know, the little shoylet is to have a place to access the character editing screen, right, where you can just kind of make changes to your character in real time. You can do it inside a habitation module as well when you go to a, you know, an area in space, but you can swap out these modules. Like you can't swap out these ones in the front. These are like, you have your electrical, like your system, ship systems, So navigation, computer, comm link, all that kind of stuff. They're all like you can't remove any of these panels. But when you come in, you do have the your airlock, and then this is just going to be a suit locker. It's actually like this suit locker here, and everything from behind can just be cargo. Like this wall can move forward. Is my point. So you as a player can decide, like, you know what, I really am a space dad, and I just want to build a log out wherever I want. So I'm going to put a bed on there, and it's always built upon two people, because I think, even the most standard ships, I think it's cool. I do have I have two of these layered on top of each other apparently, but I do always want to have that minimum multi-crew experience. But you could like sit two people here if you wanted to. Like the whole point of this is just to have another little place that you can sit down in. They're all optional, right? These little modules just give you internal storage for putting food and random stuff. There's no like survival mechanics per se, like other than like your oxygen in the ship and stuff like that. But it's not meant to be like survival game. But you know, but it's nice that I can actually show you some of this stuff. Like every time I raid anybody, and they're like, "Oh my god, do you have anything to show?" And I'm like, "No, I don't, because I never do any clips, and I never feel a lot of the stuff is really to a point that makes sense to show off, But all the like the navigation systems and everything are working. We can. Oh, we don't have a quantum drive apparently. Yeah, but so what I've been working on is over here in these same thing, right? The visibility, you can see it kicking in. So these are all like now baked lighting inside these hangars, and this is actually grabbing your ship. Could you not send over YouTube? Yeah, I totally could. I just haven't been making clips. You know what I mean? Like I need someone to like, I don't know, like work on that. See, like, so this actually grabs the ship, and if we come over here and we click this little latch, we can actually work on the ship, right? This is what I want to showcase, right? Is like how malleable the ship is for like upgrades and stuff. How we can go buy a whole bunch of like ship components, and power plants, and things, and actually like throw them in there. But right now the snap points, like we have this weird issue where the for some reason when I was like re-editing a lot of this, these snap point locations are like wrong. Right. So like the points that we're using to like put in these, like I think the fuel intake here. Fuel tank intake, this one. Right, so like this one here is like working, but yeah, so we gotta organize this so that it looks pretty, right? When you're customizing the ship, like fuel tanks work. There's a few of these obviously that are working, so you can like upgrade the fuel tanks, the bigger ones. That's like the the TLDR. Sent over Twitch. I mean, oh yeah, cool. The heat shield. Okay, cool. Let me take a look here. Getting like so many errors being like spammed right now. Let me just stop this. Let me bring up Chat Arena locally. It's gonna be a pain. No, it's gonna require me to just jump into the streaming PC real quick. Oh yeah. I gotcha. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that tone of cool. I'll pull this. I'll make something similar. So that's kind of like what we're looking at. I mean, we're how do we detail a lot of this stuff now and make it work for us? So yeah, like a lot of multiplayer systems are working, but yeah, it's now I want to get it back to where it was when we were in Unity, with all the cool props and details and it feeling like an '80s mall. And once it feels like an '80s mall, and I think it'll be neat. But yeah, thanks a ton for the raid. Let me give you a shout out. Maybe I can can I automatically do shit? I mean, I'm playing around with StreamerBot for the first time. Well, that actually all works. That's so good. I love this bot. So good. If you guys aren't following Big Boy Games, give him a follow. He's fantastic. Really weird. Like some of these surfaces just never like baked in. You know, when we did the light baking, there's still like this weird. Like these are the exact same materials. Just one of them is inside a prefab. And similarly here, right? Like the light maps are like doing some weird things. And I think I need to like kind of reorganize these assets so they're just meshes and not nodes, and you kind of get a better feel for yeah, as I turn off like gizmos, like it's really weird, like the separation between them. There's even a difference in like detail between them. And they're the same. Like they are literally the exact same mesh. Like when I open them up independently, they're exactly the same. But yet when the UV2s are set on them, there's no scaling or anything. They're just, it's imported to do baked light maps. Yeah, right. We can just light map data to them. But when they're in the thing, they're like, nope. So that's what we're trying to do now. We're trying to like redo all these snap points, and you know, flashing on my phone, so I can't really see the details. No, it's just like light maps not baking to the meshes correctly. But they're also like a single, like they're an instance of a prefab. Like I don't know what happens if you just instantiate like a whole bunch of panels, but then you try to bake all the lighting. It should technically work. Like everything should work because the light map is saved independently in that scene and referenced in the scene. Like it shouldn't care, but I don't know. It's really weird because it should just be applied on that UE. Still missing a bunch of stuff. It's like there's a bunch of stuff that this thing is not referencing anymore. Even though like the cabinets have definitely not moved, but it's like it can't find the cabinets anymore. I think there was a node. Like I feel like there was some empties that were being used to position a lot of this stuff, and then those empties either got deleted or moved or something. And now we're in this weird situation, or I just manually place them so that they look good there, but it's not a good process because X, it's like that. It's just not good to eyeball it. Because even here, like that's gonna clip. It's just barely not clipping. Right, like it should be forward more, but that doesn't really make sense that it should be forward more because like these have always been the size, these little panels. It's like we haven't changed anything, it's weird. Because this was either here at 7.5 or -8, or worse, the whole ship has been recentered. Like maybe when I recenter the ships center of gravity. But then that wouldn't make sense either, because this ship is perfectly balanced right now, and all of these components are actually like snapped to their perfect positions, right? 1 3 3 3. So like these, yeah, it doesn't make any sense, right? Because these are all right. They're all, their origins are perfect. So I don't know. I'm gonna go, and it's like 11 now, so I'm gonna get ready and raid someone else, and we'll work on it now tomorrow. I just wanted to get in. There's a whole bunch of changes to the server that I made. Check the Discord as well. Like the launcher has been fully updated and it should work now. And there's a bug on the dedicated server that stopped you from logging in and a bunch of stuff. But if we go to online and I just run the scene, that this should now be fully compatible with the dedicated server build, which is great. I really wanted to try to get people playing the game this weekend. Like, you know, I should be able to just join in and it just find me a spot. Boom. Yep. And this is where I last logged off. And oh, and what's so good about this Asterion that I love, that I've come to love, because now that we're playing on the dedicated server, right? Because all physics is done on the server, and the server is only doing physics right now, right? And the server doesn't have any meshes. Look at the frame rate. 300 FPS, 270 FPS. This is so smooth. You have no idea how smooth this is. So like whenever I'm testing it, I'm always like, you know what I mean? I'm messing around and I'm doing it in the kind of the single player build. But we had a weird bug, like an edge case in the systems loading, and I fixed it. And when you also died, if there wasn't a spot for you to spawn at, there was this weird bug that I found yesterday after the stream, and now it works fine. And if the server crashes, it just restarts. So the universe server should now stay online forever. Like, you should be able to join me here, and unless the IP address changes or something like that of the house, because I'm still running it here locally. But either way, this is now all running really, 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 really good. I'm gonna go spawn a ship in real quick before I go. Like a weird, I'm like clipping through. It's funny. That's the other thing. When I'm spawning a ship in here in multiplayer, you're not guaranteed to actually get your, your actual terminal. That your ship is actually like it picks one random one on the station, so it could be here, it could be not. It brings you back to the menu. It just says it's server crash, so you go back to the menu, you can rejoin. Oh, I never I never turned on the interior. Oops. I forgot to turn on the ship model. On the server build. But either way, like, awesome. So yeah, when we were working on it last night, I did a build. The visibility must have been turned off at the time. New, yeah, right. New cloaking tech. Yeah. There's a shield still on. Hang on, let's see if we can destroy it. See if it's still taking damage. I don't think so. Oh. Either way, very happy that I can do this. You know what I mean? We can just like boom, we can connect again. So I don't know. I'm hoping that we'll have our own little place soon, like our own little station with all of its detail. We can play pool, go to the bar. You know, it'd be neat. So a bit of detailing, bit of optimization, and a bit of polish, and we'll be there. But systemically, I need to get the ship inventory, the station cargo grids working, and the station storage. So all the things that you save, they actually save at that at that station. So it's not just in your personal inventory anymore. It'll be like. And what I'm gonna do for the time being for testing is make that be a player resource. So it'll all still be being saved locally on your machine, like client side for the time being. But it'll just be like a nested hierarchy of each space station, and then each space station's inventory, right? So as you're buying stuff and selling stuff, it's still local, so you can run the build in single player and still have everything you have and still be you, right? The same player. Just you can jump on the server and it'll honor all of that, right? When you're when you go and spawn it in, it'll just tell the server, you know what I mean? Oh, I just spawned in this item or whatever, and it'll just honor it until we need to increase the complexity. Hey, Revere, question. Do you have advice doing a shooter game with Unreal 5 for someone learning? I don't use Unreal, unfortunately. I use Godot, so it's kind of hard to... because Unreal is more like blueprints and C++. Oh, wait a second. I don't think the server cares about... Let me just turn the model back on. Yeah, this is all... this is all Godot. Which I like. Godot's free. It's open source. You can use C# with it. You know, if you were to, switch from, let's say, Godot to Unity, it's like the same programming language. It's like a recommendation that I would make is to learn C# and, maybe like start with something like Godot, depending on what you want to do, right? If you want to become an engineer and maybe do like something other than game dev with the same programming language, then I feel really dumb asking that question. Hey, it's all good. It's all good. Unreal is made specifically for like FPS type games, but like heavier on resources versus Godot, yeah. Nothing wrong with it, especially if you're like learning. I don't think there's nothing wrong with visual scripting either. I think it all just depends on like what you want to do. Like, you know what I mean? Like, do you want to spend more time doing the art? Like, is the art important to you? Do you want to build systems? Like the recipe of an FPS is pretty straightforward. You have your FPS hands, your character controller, like FPSs have been made, like since the dawn of time. So there's, they're pretty straightforward to make as far as like, the way you approach it, which I think is very similar on any game engine. But, you just kind of start, with a default template or something and work your way up. I didn't know if Godot would be easier to make a shooter game. It all depends. Like what makes Unity and Unreal great starting is there's usually a lot of like, you go to the asset store, you can download a template. In Godot, there's not really that perfect FPS template. You got to like, set up your capsule, set up your camera, add some animations. Like you're gonna have to still do it. You know what I mean? And I find even with the when you use assets, you know what I mean, like a first person controller or something from like a template to kind of get started, you still end up kind of ultimately disassembling that template and changing it to your own use case, right? So it's one of those things, right? There's nothing wrong with Unreal or Unity or even Godot. It's just going to be like whatever works great for you. I find having a nice open source free game engine is kind of nice. There's no cost. The cost is learning, right? The cost, it's like everything, right? Nothing's free. And I'm trying to make everything from scratch with Unreal 5 so I can use my own assets. Are you a modeler? Ninja? There is so in my Unreal project, so there's this really, really good template. It's called let me show you. I'll bring it up. It's called Unreal controller. What's it called? What's it called? What's it called? It's like open source. Universal Ultimate something character controller. Oh. Oh, thanks for the follow. You've been using 3ds Max since. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I think in that case, Unreal would be a good approach. I say this really because if you're an artist and you can build templates to put your art in, then you can sell them on the asset store, and you can do the same for Unity as well. You can kind of put your art in there, you know, if you want to showcase it. I think it was just called Advanced Controller. Let me just see if I have it under my Unreal Engine projects, because it is really good. I feel like it was this one. I want to find it because there's this really good controller for Unreal that does first person and third person. It's got wall, it's got everything, and it's open source. It was like something. It was called like Advanced something controller, AL something controller 4, ALS 4. I'm just gonna like. No, it wasn't this one. Really funny because a lot of people were using it, but now I can't find it. Is this it? Yeah, I think it is called ALS. This is it. This is it. I should already have this in my library. Yeah, because this is like the random default. I wish I knew where the other project was I had. I had a really good project for the with ALS. I had like pretty much all of my original game characters. Because when I was originally looking into different game engines, like after Unity did the Unity thing, I built a prototype of Unforgiven Space in both Unreal and in Godot. And that prototype was pretty cool. But I need to see how we add it. It should be downloaded. Let me see. Remember, because I thought it was here, but I think this is just an empty one from before. Oh, okay. Let's go back. What I'm doing is like Building is a cyberpunk game playstyle. Cool. Over here, like ALS V4. What did I call it here? Advanced locomotion system. So weird that like it's literally here on their website, but like it has like so like it should view in the launcher, but it should add to the project. Yeah, it doesn't actually even view in the project. Yeah, whenever it's like hidden, but this thing was awesome. This thing was amazing when I played with it. And it should be here on Fab. Yeah, it's right here. How do I download it from inside? Please sign into Fab. We are signed into Fab. Let's add it to the library. How do I add things from a library? Library manager, oh, bridge, open marketplace. Import into level. I don't know. I used to know this, but I don't anymore. Yeah, I already went to the Fab window, and it doesn't let me download. Because we were able to, we were able to bring it up, and it's like saved my library, but it doesn't seem to be a right view in my library. What version? 5.5, whatever the latest, I think. How do you get to your library from inside the build? Is it under window? We're in Fab. My library. Like I searched it from in my library. See, this is it here in my library. But it only like links. There's no download. It's next to bookmark. Next to bookmark. You had to start a project with it. Oh, okay. So we do have to get out of here. And then go to your library. Or Unreal Engine library. Gotcha. Because you have like start a project, that's why you don't use it. That's weird. You can't just like add stuff to an existing. That's weird. Yeah, because like this thing rocks. Look at this. Look how good this is. And the right, like this is awesome. You can ragdoll. There's a few different meshes. We'll just switch it back to the dude. And then what was a V? Overlay, aim, lock, roll, camera, mouse, right stick, advanced. Maybe some weapons. Where's the weapons? Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where the camera holds. See, okay, there we go. Like this is great. I just like having edit their code. Yeah, but this is like they really did add like a bunch of everything to this thing. Needs ammo. This is one I played around with a load, and it had a lot of options, like a ton of options for like vaulting and climbing up, and you know what I mean, like just like this is pretty good. Like this one's too high, this one's fine, and yeah, the animations are pretty good. You play with it, cool. Like for me to like recreate this perfectly in Godot, you know what I mean? Like it'd take me a bit, you know what I mean? But then again, they've been working on ALS for a long time, so it's like everything, you know. It's just time investment. That's wild. You can't just add a package. That's crazy. I guess you could create a project and kind of move it over. Like you could export it into the other Godot project manually, like kind of. But yeah, just saying like, why do you need like 2,000 animations? I don't think there's 2,000 animations. I think just have like you can use IK with some very basic ones. Yeah, plugins are addable project templates like that, like the name says. Gotcha. One of these days, I might play around with an Unreal project just for learning, you know, mess around with it. But I don't know where my original project was. I had a full project with all my art, but probably never backed it up. Probably never cared. Still keep it. I find Unreal can export GLTFs pretty good. Probably better than Unity. Like you know, going in and trying to use Unity to kind of like take an FBX and convert it into a GLTF sucks. But Unreal seems to take like like an FBX and move it pretty good. Yeah, it's come along. This is a lot of gray box, right? Like I have a vision for what I want it to be, but you know it's just gonna take a while to kind of reach it. Dark, gritty, but I'm very agnostic person when it comes to development. Like I don't care what language, you know, GD script, C sharp, C plus plus. You know, it's all they're all just tools. I try to you know like play around with everything. You know, be a sorcerer. Right? I'm not a purist of anything. I'm too old, you know, to care. You know, just do whatever works. Do whatever you feel is going to give you the right workflow. You know. I think this is right. I think this was intended to go exactly right here, but something is wrong with this process. I mean, I bet you that's 0 point. Yeah, I bet you that's exactly where it was originally supposed to go. The only downside is, yeah, like -1, -6. Because even here, this is like 1. Yeah. That's making more sense. 1, 6.75, because it's a half. But this height, the z-axis, 0 point. Like they should be there, but this back. I don't mind this clipping, but we'll fix this clipping in Blender. What we'll do is we'll scale down the model a little bit, so its bounds will still be, the 1 by 1 by 2, but we'll just shrink it down within the bounds, so it's not going to Z fight with the panels. But this is looking better. I have no idea why that's rotated weird. And then this guard, I guess, is just going to have to be like half the height that it is. Yeah, because the old body was pretty thin. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Like systemically, things are kind of aligned a lot better, in points that make sense. But this still seems pretty rough for the fuel scope. Yeah, what I think I'll do is I think I'll pull this forward a bit in the exterior. I'll make sure we leave the normals, but I think this looks good. This gives us access to everything that we need. It's a bit tight for throwing everything in there, but yeah, I'm gonna make the squirrel even smaller still. Maybe it can even be grillless. Zero five. I don't dislike that. That works. Okay, so these positions do work. Good, 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 good. Yeah, I think this thing needs to change. Okay, I'm okay with this. Cool. All right, now I'll go and we'll end it here on YouTube, and we'll go raid someone. This is gonna be so cool. These are all detailed, man, like the shield emitters and the scanning array and the scanners and all the hookups and stuff. Cool. Thanks again for the follow, Ninja. And just a note, we're also live on YouTube. Eventually, hopefully, I'll start doing some devlogs. I've been saying that for years, though. But the devlogs are here. Just watch the stream, Maybe in reality, I just need to one day find an editor that can just cut down the clip, cut down the clips to things. Yeah. Okay. I'm digging this. We'll get all these transforms moved because they should be the same. Like I should just probably go into Godot and set these points. The other question is, I think I do want to eventually center this origin to the middle, but it's fine because this is exactly like this should be, you know, same thing. Should be a 2 meter or a 1 meter component. There's also the reality that the components might just be in general too big, right? Like a 2 meter long engine. I guess that's probably fine for a power plant. Probably makes sense. But for some of the stuff like the battery goes behind the front landing struts, and this is like a placeholder. It's not the real landing struts for the front. They're kind of like a compressed piston system that kind of extend out. It's this was the old placeholder. I think like a lot of this stuff we just lost. I remember like the Blender library messed up when I had my SSD crash, and a lot of this stuff was restored from backup. And I think we lost some of the things, some of the original landing gear, and things are kind of a mixture of both. And that's why a lot of these positions and stuff were moved. Because I don't even think I have the battery model anymore. No, not for the main. Yeah, because the battery component bay is in between the fuel for power. Yeah, some of these are like old hull from before, right? With the normals are not even, like a lot of this stuff can be deleted. Anyway, we'll clean it up. Alright, let me go over to the stream.